I'm about to tell you why you should not start a credit repair business. So pay attention. If you thought about starting a credit repair business, I want you to listen to the reasons I'm going to tell you, and then you can decide for yourself if you want to start it or not. Welcome to a new episode of the CAP Podcast, Consumer Ammunition Tactics Podcast. Hopefully, y'all blessed. Hopefully, y'all amazing. Hopefully, y'all are great. So, as far as credit repair business, the economy is not getting any better. The economy is getting worse. We might continue to be in the situation that we're in. So, I know that people are always looking for new ways to make money. If you're subscribed to me already, if you listen to the podcast already, chances are you know a little bit about credit, you know a little bit about fixing credit, or you're willing to know about it, right? But I just want to give y'all some reasons of why I would say that you should not start a credit repair business. So, number one, just keep in mind that you have the possibility to make a lot of money while working less, right? So, let's say you work a 9 to 5 right now. You don't love your 9 to 5. Let's say you're in a different business. You don't love that business, right? Maybe you're working long hours. Maybe you're working a 9 to 5, you're working long hours and you're not getting the pay that you think you should be getting, right? If you start a credit repair business, you potentially have the risk of making a lot of money and making a lot of money in a short amount of time. So one thing about the credit business is essentially you're disputing things for people, right? As far as the credit repair, it's a high income skill because everybody needs credit. And then on top of that too, you stage their credit report to where it's fundable. They're able to get money, right? You go get someone like 50,000 in funding, you get a 10% kickback. That's $5,000 right there. Some people don't make that in a month at their 9 to 5. So I would say do not start a credit repair business unless you're prepared to be making a lot of money in a short amount of time. Because it's potentially what can happen. You can potentially be making a lot of money in a short amount of time, and you can be making a lot of money while working less, right? This is literally what happened to me. I used to work as a chemical engineer. I had a 6-figure salary as a chemical engineer. I went to, college. I got my engineering degree, all that, right? So I graduated, I did the whole dream thing. Oh, that's what's up. I got the degree and everything. I stumbled across my credit business. All of a sudden, I realized I'm working less in the business versus, I have to go to do at my 9 to 5. And I was making more. So I was like, this is crazy. What happens if I get out of the 9 to 5 and I'm doing it full time? And then we just, been up ever since then. So I say that to let you know, you might come across what happened to me. What happened to me was that I was basically out earning my 9 to 5 while working less. So that's a risk that could potentially happen if you start a credit repair business. I'm just letting you know. I'm just here to inform you. So keep that in mind. I know that, with the whole recession thing, it's a lot of people trying to figure out new ways to get to the money. So just keep that in mind as you're looking for new ways to make money. You might make a lot of money in a short amount of time. It's risky. If you're not financially literate, if you don't want to succeed in life, you might not want to start it. So keep that in mind, right? So an additional reason of why I don't recommend that you start a credit repair business is because you're basically waking up to the truth of the world, right? So it goes back to the Matrix, red pill, blue pill, all that. You could live in ignorance right now and everything's all good. You continue to live in ignorance. You work 40 years to get 40% of your paycheck, 40-40, right? Or you could learn about the truth about credit, learn about these consumer laws, and go ahead and start that business, and you're just figuring out about how the United States actually is, So you could live in the truth, which is a risk, or you could continue living in ignorance, which is bliss, right? So keep that in mind too. That's one reason why I would not start a credit repair business. Just keep in mind, if you want to stay ignorant, you want to just, if you want to live in like a poor mentality, you might not want to start a credit repair business because it might get you out of poverty, to be honest, right? Just the whole mindset and everything. So that's the reason why I wouldn't start a credit repair business as well. So those are just a couple of reasons. And if you, for whatever reason, if you're somebody, you do want to start a credit repair business based off of the reasons I just mentioned, you're willing to take that risk of making a lot of money and making a lot of money in a short amount of time. You're willing to be in a position to potentially fire your 9 to 5. You're willing to learn about the truth. You're willing to, one thing too, a risk with starting your credit business as well is you're potentially going to impact a lot of people, right? You're potentially going to be changing people's lives. So this was something that happened to me. I was in the office working as an engineer. Okay, I'm solving problems. That's cool. I'm impacting the lives of my family because I'm making money or whatever. But when I started a credit business, I saw that I'm impacting lives of direct people, like the clients and stuff like that. Putting videos on YouTube, I'm impacting lives. So the risk with starting a credit repair business is that you're potentially going to be changing lives and creating a great legacy for yourself. So it's just something to keep in mind as well. I just came on here to give y'all some things to worry about if you want to start a credit repair business. But like I said, if you're hearing everything I'm saying and you still want to start a credit repair business, or you want to grow your current credit repair business or scale it, pay attention. All right, so let's get into it. So some of y'all may be following me, maybe you're new, maybe you're not new. I want to just walk through the process and yeah, let's just talk. I'll walk through the process, take notes on what I'm saying, take action on what I'm saying, and change your situation, right? It really makes me feel good when y'all take like from the free information, which is, this YouTube video or this podcast, whatever, and y'all make something out of yourselves, right? So keep that in mind. So number one, if you don't know nothing about credit, number one, what I need y'all to do, you could listen to this video and watch this podcast, but I recommend that you watch the 2-hour webinar that I taught. If you don't have access to it, or if you're listening to this on a podcast, what's the text word? Text class, the word class to 913-4741. Class to 914-353-4741. So text that, you'll get the 2-hour webinar, and basically I walk through the entire process. But we're gonna walk through it like right now and just kind of give y'all information just so y'all know how to do it for yourselves, and then y'all can, go ahead and get to the next level as far as doing it for your own business or elevating your current business. So number one, what you want to do, you want to pull your credit reports, right? Or your client's credit reports. If you're doing it for a client, what's going to happen is what we typically do, we get their Identity IQ information. So Identity IQ, it lets us know, it's a credit monitoring service. So if you don't know about Identity IQ, you go to identityiq.com, go ahead and sign up and familiarize yourself with it. So they have stuff like Identity IQ, Smart Credit. I think My Score IQ is one of them. So these are monitoring services. So when you're serving clients, you want to get that information so that you could put it into your software. Like we use Client Dispute Manager. You can draw up their credit analysis, right? This is important because it's a PDF document that walks through the stuff that's harming their credit and what they can do to fix it. So you look more professional when you're serving your clients. So then what I would recommend you do is how we do our business. Hop on a Zoom. So I have my sales reps hop on a Zoom with the client, walk them step by step through every negative item that they have, right? Just confirm everything's negative as far as what they want to remove. What is their goal? Where do they see themselves being, Conduct yourself like a business. Think about it like if you go get like a service-based thing, like let's say you do a consultation with an attorney or something. Just take from what you see in common everyday stuff and apply it to your own business. This is just business advice for those of y'all that want to start your own credit repair business, right? If you're not there or if you need to polish up what you got going on right now. So I gave y'all practical things you can do to make your consultation better. You hop on a consultation with them. I recommend that you create your own philosophy. So I have a philosophy called the sandwich method. Those of y'all that have been watching my videos, you probably know about it from one of my past videos. I walk through how we actually create our letters. So my sales reps, it's up to them to represent me under the company to explain to the client. We use our dispute department because we have different departments. We have our sales department, we have our dispute department, we have our marketing department, we have you have HR, development. You don't need to have all those extra stuff, but as you grow your company, you want to have multiple departments, right? Just so that you're not having one person do everything. So hiring is a whole different podcast episode. But anyways, y'all let me know if y'all want me to talk about hiring. Drop it below or something, message me, whatever. So what was I saying? So yeah, you're doing a consultation with the client, or your sales rep is doing a consultation. We'll walk through. We'll say our dispute department, the sales reps will say our dispute department is going to use something that Michael created called the sandwich method to go ahead and get what we can to get these negative items removed. We dispute in a way where we're going through a process of basically helping you have a claim where relief can be granted. And what that means is that's basically putting them in a situation to where if we don't get our desired result, now we put ourselves in a position to be able to go through litigation, to get the claim that we actually want to get, the relief that we want to get, right? Because we're basically presenting a claim with every notice that we're sending. We're sending certified mail. We're using the right consumer laws. We're following up with the method of verification. We're following up with pre-litigation. We have an affidavit if necessary. You know what I'm saying? So these are things that you want to keep in mind. These are things you want to put in place. These are systems you want to put in place when you're going about your situation. So keep that in mind, right? If you have a credit repair business already established, or if you're new, you could take something from everything I'm saying. So we went from the beginning. Identity IQ. You put it in your client dispute manager. If you use Credit Repair Cloud, I never use that one. You can use that one too, right? Create the credit analysis. Hop on the Zoom. Do not be phone calling these people. Hop on a Zoom and make it personal, right? Build rapport with the client. Ask them what is their specific goal. Do they just want to have a cute credit score, or do they actually want to go ahead and get funding for a certain situation? Do they want to go and buy a house? That's a common thing. Do they want to get a car? And be digging. This goes back into sales now. Be digging. Don't just be like, okay, you want to get a car and then move on to the next thing. Okay, you want to get a car. What does that look like for you? What's your dream car? What color are you trying to get? How long have you been looking for the car? You got to get to the nitty gritty of their pain point. Or whatever their pain point is, whatever their goal is, you want to visualize with them. Because most credit repair companies aren't doing all this. They're just going to be like, okay, this is our price. We're going to dispute. And that's that. And they might not even hear from them for months, right? Following up, that's the thing you got to be doing too. If you can follow up weekly, if you can follow up bi-weekly, if your follow-up is monthly, but you need to be following up. You need to be following up, right? So these are just common things you have to have set in place if you want to be a respectable credit repair company, right? So you walk through that consultation. Okay, now what you do when y'all go over it, don't leave the call without getting the money, right? So go ahead and close the deal. No matter whatever you charge, that's up to that's your business, right? So I teach my students as far as a system of how they could go about it, but you don't have to be my student to know what to charge. You can charge whatever you want, right? Just make it make sense based on your business. So keep that in mind. I teach my students to be the Gucci of the credit repair industry. So we're not charging no little money, to be honest with you. But, charge what you charge. If you want to do a payment plan, you can do all that. If you want to not do a payment plan, it's up to you. It's your prerogative. So then what you do, while that's done, you have to send the contract information. You have to send the supplemental information. So the supplemental information, you need to read the CROA, the Credit Repair Organization Act. So 15 USC 1679. Because some of y'all are operating illegally, right? So you have to send a certain disclosures and notices and have everything put in place. Keep that in mind. So once we do all that, then we get into actual repair. So I'm low-key talking from a perspective of just a credit repair business owner. But let's talk about fixing credit normally. So this could be universally applicable. So whether it's you or for the client. So let's just say for you, pull your credit report. freeannualcreditreport.com. That's going to be like the most accurate place you can get it. Do not just be looking at Credit Karma. You can use Credit Karma as an estimate, but do not look at it as the be all end all. Do not look at it as a be all end all. And I repeat something. That means it's important. Do not look at Credit Karma as a be all. So that should be like a estimate, basically. So you pull your credit report, register on Experian.com. Okay, now you see what's wrong with it. You go to your Identity IQ. You have your credit analysis. You can do the credit analysis for yourself, right? So you have the inquiries, collections, whatever. Collections. Always send a debt validation notice. Always send a debt validation notice. Always send a debt validation notice. An example of collections in terms of a claim, because a claim is where you could actually, sue these people. I want y'all to look at 15 USC 1692 E8. E8. E is the false or misleading representation section. So let me give y'all a very specific case scenario of what may happen. So you send the debt validation and you also say that you're disputing the debt. You send it to them, right? Let's say you send it to them on the 2nd of the month or something. And then your credit report refreshes on the 20th or 21st. If it doesn't say in the comment section, consumer disputes the debt, that's a violation under the FDCPA. Remember, FDCPA is Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. They're already doing unfair debt collection practices, but for them not to notate on your credit report that you disputed the debt. This is not legal advice, but I know what I'm saying. That is a violation. So you can get with a consumer lawyer. That's the most appropriate thing for me to tell you. But I help people as far as, these kinds of situations. I'm just telling you that 15 USC 1692 E8. It's a violation under there. But yeah, collections, you always want to send a debt validation notice. So go ahead and ask them, like, I don't think you own the debt. I don't think you have the right to collect on this debt, especially if it's a third party agency that's located in a different state than you. What you want to do is ask them, like, provide me proof of your license to even collect in my state. That's one thing. One big thing too, I tell my students this, one big thing you want to do is basically ask them, you want to ask them for not just a bill of sale, but the entire purchase agreement, right? So you want to request the entire purchase agreement. That's if this is a third party debt collector. So keep that in mind. It's something that you want to do as well. So that's just like collections. Everything else, the like universal application, because we'll be here on here all day if we're talking about all the specific consumer laws. But the universal thing I want y'all to understand is I want y'all to take it as like a customized approach. When I say a customized approach, it's like cooking a meal. Yeah, you have the ingredients, but everybody does it different to a certain degree. We all arrive at the same destination, right? Whether we're using the same ingredients or different ingredients. Everybody has like their own style. So I want y'all to apply that here. You have to have an open mindset of, okay, I may send out a letter, it may not work. Maybe someone else did the same thing. It worked, right? So credit is one of those things where everything's just different. So I want y'all to have that open mindset when you're going about it. The mindset is number one. Remember, if you believe that you can delete the item, you can do it. If you believe you cannot delete the item, then you cannot do it. And one thing too, I always tell people to do, I tell my students to do, and one thing that's big is I recommend that you pray over your letters. Pray over your letters. A lot of y'all out here, y'all are fighting demons and you don't even know it. So you got to stay prayed up out here. So I don't care if you don't have a religion or if you have a religion, you need to talk to God about blessing your letters and ask him for, the items to get deleted, because you never know what evil forces are out here. You know what I'm saying? So this is why I stay prayed up, and you should stay prayed up as well, because the enemies, they're fighting hard. So you got to fight harder, So keep that in mind. I'd recommend praying over your letters once you actually send it out. But okay, the actual process, right? Like I said, if you have collections, send a debt validation. And one thing too, I think I go over this in a 2-hour training. Some people are like, should I send to the credit bureau? Should I send to the actual company? I recommend both. As far as for the collections, send that debt validation directly to the company, the third party, the agency, the original creditor, or whatever. That debt validation notice is going to them. Validation is for the company. The verification is what the bureaus are talking about. Validation is for the company. Verification is what the bureaus are talking about. So you're also going to send your notices, your letters to the credit bureaus as well, addressing that collection as well. So then also I would recommend submit a CFPB complaint. If you don't know what CFPB is, you need to go ahead and grab our DIY recession repair remedy, the $7 course. And then I think we have the CFPB document in the funnel. Just grab that. If you're just going to be the cheapest person in the world, I'm not talking to you anyways. I'm talking to people that are willing to invest in themselves, right? So keep that in mind. So submit a CFPB complaint. So create a CFPB account. Go ahead and hit submit. As far as, explain your situation. You could literally, some people are like, oh, what should I put in the boxes over there? I give my mentees, stuff to put in there, but just for you watching, like if you happen to just be cheap, or if you just don't want to invest in yourself. I mean, those are both the same thing. If you're cheap and you don't want to invest in yourself, that's a cheap person. It's a poor person. All right. So if you happen to be a poor person, or if you just, if you're just in a situation, maybe you're just not able to invest right now, right? What I would recommend, you can literally, when it says like what happened in the CFPB complaint, you can literally just copy what you put in your letter and then put it there. What do you want as a fair resolution? You want this item to be deleted, right? It's pretty self-explanatory. You don't got to make it too deep, right? So I would do a CFPB complaint against the actual debt collector, and then a separate CFPB complaint for the actual credit bureaus. So keep that in mind. You want to attack everybody. That's what I recommend. Attack everybody. So when you're writing your actual letter, to the credit bureaus, that's when you explain everything that happened. Go to my YouTube video where I talked about the sandwich method. I think it's the one that says method of verification. It might be that video. I got so many videos I'd be forgetting, to be honest. But yeah, so go ahead and draft up your letter. What happened, right? Okay, I pull my credit report and I notice these items need to be disputed. List the damn accounts, right? What's the reason? Permissible purpose, 15 USC 1681B number 2. They don't have my written instructions, so they need to delete the item. 15 USC 1681C-2, block of information resulting from identity theft. 15 USC 1681A2AI, the fact that what's excluded from a consumer report is those transactions or experiences. So it's up to you to paint a picture of what's in there, right? Okay, 15 USC 1681EB, the maximum possible accuracy law. I have circled here. Maybe you put a screenshot. I have circled here that there's different open and close dates. So now we're going to the factual disputing, but we're mixing in the consumer laws. If you're going to succeed with a credit repair business, you have to understand the consumer laws. It's non-negotiable. I know some people talk about Metro 2. That's not going to save you if you have to go to court. So keep that in mind, right? So you send out those notices, your initial notices. Okay, let's say some items get deleted. Some get told, verified or whatever. Now you're going to follow up. Go watch the method of verification video that I put out, right? That has everything explained in there. You're going to send that method of verification. 15 USC 1681 I number 7. Pay attention to that. Pay attention to that law, right? So go through all that, and essentially now you got your next notice. If they send it back, same thing. Okay, remember, this credit journey is like a boxing match. So the next thing that you can do, send a pre-litigation notice. I sent you this on this date. I sent you this method of verification on this date. You still have not done what you needed to do. You're willfully not compliant. 15 USC 1681 N. If they're being negligent, 1681 O, right? So keep that in mind. All of this non-compliance is where you're gonna, get them as far as your remedy. So keep that in mind as well. So you send that over, and then at that point, if you have all the documentation, you've been doing certified mail and things like that, I recommend, if you don't know what you're doing, you can get with a consumer lawyer. Present your case, explain everything you've done, you've pointed out the inaccuracies, things like that. And then you can escalate your situation from there. So that's typically the road of how it goes. You want to have the mindset of basically have it from the beginning that this could potentially go to court. So that's a mindset I want y'all to have about the whole situation. So that's done. Okay, cool. All the negatives are cleaned up. Let's say it's your report. Let's say it's a client's report. It don't matter. Now you need to make sure that your report is actually built up to be actually fundable. So we can do personal funding, we can do business funding. Get your personal funding correctly first, and then go ahead and get the business funding. Well, it's up to you how you want to do it. But if your personal is, the better your personal structure, the better your business funding will be. And the way that I teach, people do it different ways. Some people teach build up to net 30s, 60s, 90s. I don't believe in all that. What I do is I say, focus on your personal. Get your personal as right as possible and use that as a personal guarantee. Leverage it. Why are you scared to use it as a personal guarantee, right? I understand you want to get stuff in your business name and all that, but don't be scared to use your personal. Your personal is there to be used. You should be using your credit. It's not just to be a cute credit score, right? So keep that in mind. So make sure, no late payments. Make sure you have at least 10 positive accounts. Make sure you have credit mix, right? So some people are like credit strong, kickoff, all those people, right? All that stuff is cool. And I've recommended that to people, before as well. But what I think is more powerful is establishing the relationship. So when I say establishing the relationship, you got to remember that kickoff, credit strong, these people, they're just like a monthly primary situation. It's not that they have credit cards for you to elevate and get to the next level. So why not go ahead and start in the beginning and establish relationships right away? So go ahead and get secured loans. Go ahead and get that Navy Federal pledge loan. So by the time you've done what you needed to do, you've already established a relationship with the actual institution, being Navy Federal Credit Union versus Kickoff or Credit Strong. So as far as building your report, I recommend you establish relationships with actual banks. You can go to regional banks. Credit unions is what I highly recommend. National banks, your Chase, Bank of America, US Bank, go through all them people. You can do all of that, but I recommend going through actual banks because they have alternative products that you're actually going to want to graduate to, right? So as far as if you need a build. So I'm not saying don't get credit strong or kick off and all that, but I'm just saying have some consideration about what you're getting and how it's going to affect you down the line, you know? So keep that in mind. And then you go ahead, figure out your strategy. So whether you go to Bank Branch Locator or iBankNet, and go ahead and get your funding. In that 2-hour training I told y'all to go to, I basically walked through, I think I gave those resources, iBankNet and Bank Branch Locator. I broke them down. So go ahead and watch it in the 2-hour training. I'm not going to cover it in here because I talked about it in that 2-hour training. So yeah, you did all that. And then if you've done it for yourself, now you know you can do it for someone else. Now we get into the marketing as far as getting credit repair clients and things like that. That's all that higher level stuff that we're not going to talk about today. I just wanted to come on here and tell y'all why you should not start a credit repair business. For those of y'all that are willing to reap what comes with it, what comes with it, you know, making a lot of money in a short amount of time, your time freedom back, impacting lives. If you're willing to deal with, you know, the ramifications of that, then, you know, okay, maybe you can start a credit repair business. But hopefully this episode helped. Make sure you share it with somebody that will find it valuable. With that being said, y'all have a blessed one.